African American Quest for Freedom by Audra Bounds. In thinking of freedom, I automatically am reminded of the African American's quest for freedom. Like layers of an onion, the African American quest shows a picture of an evolved freedom that is still evolving. African Americans first came to America in 1619 as indentured servants. And by the 1700s, they were brought in chains as slaves. By 1860, there were almost 4 million slaves. During the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves in the rebellious states. But did this document secure freedom for all slaves? And this is where I would give the students a chance to think why or why not. Also, after the Civil War, Congress passed the 13th Amendment that actually made slavery illegal. And this is where I would ask students, how did that change the plight of the African Americans after they were freed? During Reconstructions, African Americans obtained rights and freedoms such as voting and holding public office. And in the article, the picture, you can see that there were many, in particular South Carolina, that were in the South Carolina's legislature. But unfortunately, that freedom, as we so often see, would not last. After Reconstruction, African Americans lost many freedoms that were denied. They were denied freedoms by Jim Crow laws, in which we saw segregation of public schools. They weren't allowed to sit in the front of buses and eat in the same places as the whites. In 1954, the Supreme Court ruled that segregation was unconstitutional. This was the Brown versus Board of Education case. So we wonder, did this end all of the problems for the African Americans? Of course, we know it did not. Not all schools would follow and comply with desegregation and the integration. In 1964, President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, which was expanded in 1968. So again, the question is, would this act finally give African Americans the freedoms that the whites enjoyed in this country? And that's a question that I would pose to my students and have them think about that. We can think, yes, we have an African American that is actually President of the United States today. So in many ways we could say yes, but we still have a lot of work to do.